The history of India is a remarkable tradition of tolerance. To this day, there are Sufi shrines and churches and temples where people of all faiths gather to pray. The faith of the majority of Indians, Hinduism, is more a way of life, accommodating a wide spectrum of beliefs that enrich it and give it a vivid hue. Nowhere is this vividness more evident than in India's festivals. There is a festival almost every day in some part or the other of India. It can celebrate spring, or rain, or the harvest, the birth of a god, or the death of a demon. Any excuse is good enough for a colorful festival.
Each festival is a riot of color. And as the many shades and hues come together in a harmonious whole, the numerous communities of India too come together to celebrate its composite culture. Every festival is unique and distinct, yet many are similar. The Spring Carnival in Goa, influenced by the Portuguese, finds echoes in the Tiger dance of South India. This vigor is also reflected in the ceremonial boat races held in the Kerala backwaters. In North India, Sikkim, masked figures reappear to celebrate the victory of good over evil. The small Chinese community in Calcutta, Eastern India, brings in the Chinese New Year in the traditional manner by praying to their ancestors. However, they have incorporated the worship of Kali, one of the fearsome aspects of the mother goddess, into their custom. Among the mountains of Himachal Pradesh, North India, is situated a small town, Dharamshala, today known the world over as a microcosm of Tibetan culture and civilization. Buddhists from Tibet reached here 40 years ago when they were forced to flee their homeland. The Dalai Lama, who also resides here, is believed to be the 14th incarnation of the Lord Buddha. Tibetans have made this their home, where they continue their simple way of life based on the values espoused by Buddha. Young monks are trained here in Buddhist living and belief that is best summed up in the words, truth and non-violence.
The way to study all these texts is through what's a dialectical method. The basic thing is a lot of analytical way, investigation, and try to find contradiction. And you have to try to overcome these contradictions or solve these contradictions. Emotionally, to Tibetan, is in this country, we call Bharati, or the Arya Bhumi, the land of Arya, or land of sacred. Traditionally, it's very close with this country. So, one way is we have a feeling. This also is our spiritual home. So I often describe our relation, Indian-Tibetan, like relation between Guru and Chela. And also as a refugee, no longer any importance of this protocol or these things, formality. That also is to give me new opportunity, meeting with people, especially with people from different traditions. I think now after 37 years, many people, you see, agree that the Tibetan refugee is one of the most successful refugee community.
The younger generation of Tibetan Buddhists grow here in freedom, knowing no prejudice.
India has also seen foreign influences which are not recognized as foreign influences today. This is because these influences have seeped into Indian culture in such a fashion that most Indians today are not even aware of their foreign origins. Take, for example, the great Ashokan pillars with their imposing lion capitals. One of these, from the pillar at Sarnath, has been adopted as India's national symbol.
These pillars were fashioned by Persian artisans who came to India when the Mauryan Empire was on the rise. One of the most remarkable influences on India from West Asia was sun worship, which was prevalent in India since Vedic times. But when the sun temple was built in Konark, eastern India in the early medieval period, the sun god was depicted wearing sandals, a distinct Persian influence. Following the Greek rule in northwestern India after the death of Alexander the Great, came the first depictions of Buddha, wearing flowing robes like togas, and his hair in ringlets like in Greek sculptures, a distinguishing style of the Gandhara school of art in ancient Indian culture. Emperor Akbar asked his court artist to make picture books for his son Jahangir's education, using Indian folklore such as the Panchatantra and great mythological epics such as the Ramayana. These books use the Persian style of miniature painting with Indian ideas and imagination. Schools of miniature painting soon flourished all over western and northern India. The Indian artist borrowed freely from any and every source, including the European.
The influence of European painters who came to the courts of the emperors, and also the other way, Rembrandt has actually made drawings after Mughal miniatures, and many of the turbans in Rembrandt's paintings come from Mughal miniatures, which very people know about.
This looks like a long painted scroll, but actually it is a letter sent in the year 1610 from Agra in northern India to Patan in Gujarat, western India. It shows how Jain priests were respectfully welcomed in the court of the Mughal Emperor Jahangir. It extends an invitation to other Jain monks to visit and stay at the court. Mention is also made of the first Christian missionary to visit the court.
These influences have been central in the creation of a composite culture, which is one of the key features of the wisdom of India. And they have become part of the normal, everyday life of the people. You can see them even in the way the dupatta, or the scarf, is draped around the head and shoulders of many women in India, and some men too.
Traditionally, India used unstitched fabric for clothing. the women's sari, the men's lungi, all draped around without stitches. The British influence brought in stitched clothes, but the unstitched fabric continued to be used as a dupatta with the contemporary salwar kameez, as an angavastram with the men's kurta, or as an odhani with the ghagra choli used in Western India. That is the virtue of Indian culture. Traditions and customs are perpetuated while assimilating and blending various influences.
कंपोजिट कल्चर हर चीज से बरसता है हमारे देश में। आज हमारे देश की बनारसी साड़ी दुनिया पहनती है, लेकिन यार उसके पीछे आप जाइए कि साड़ी बनाते कौन है। तो आप बनारस जाएंगे और वहां आपको पता लगेगा कि पहनने वाले कौन है, कौन सा मजहब पहन रहा है और कौन सा मजहब बना रहा है उसे।
Just as the weaver's art provides a unique understanding of India's composite society, performing artists too lend new dimensions to the integration in Indian art. Father Barbosa, a local priest in Mumbai, illustrates Christian themes using the classical dance drama of Bharatanatyam, originally a temple dance. This, he says, is his medium to give an external visual form to his inner devotion and love for Christ.
My prayer and wish is that our culture, religions and art forms may bring people closer to each other and closer to God. Let them build bridges, not walls, for human communication and peaceful coexistence.
The variety of vocal, instrumental music, and the ability of the Indian civilization to take foreign instruments like the violin, and most recently the guitar, saxophone, mandolin, and put it into Indian classical music is fantastic.
Music is a universal language that stirs hearts and minds all over the world. Indian music through the centuries has freely given and borrowed from all styles and cultures. The process continues even in our times with the development of fusion music and world music. The late renowned Western classical violinist Yehudi Menuhin performs here with the Indian violin maestro Dr. L. Subramaniam.
I think world music, the future is going to be world music. A lot of people are, with or without knowledge, trying to use it, and some people just take an idea from an Eastern album and trying to adapt it in the Western classical composition. And there are a lot of Indian artists who have used a Western scale or Western colors in orchestration. But I feel the result of fusion will be always better if somebody can study both the systems and really understand the basics of the system.
attracted with the culture in general, but with Kathakali, and I was completely taken by Kathakali. And from there I started to discover all the other arts of Kerala. And which astonished me most is that the spiritual background of all those arts. And slowly I was taken inside, like you are taken from outside the temple to inside, to my inner self.
Lubashil, a native of France today, runs the Vigyana Kalavedi Center that accepts students of art from all over the globe. And here, as they learn and adapt to the Indian way of life, they experience the mainstay of India's integrated culture.
I want to stay, and I'm very happy here. I feel India is my home. I have been as long in India as in France. So you can easily gauge my age now.
The center also trains students in Kalarapayattu, the traditional martial art form of Kerala.
Right now my main interest is coloring, which I've been studying this trip and my previous trip here, which was a year and a half ago, last summer. And I think I'd like to pursue it. As far as I know, it's the oldest martial art in the world, and just it has a sort of, there just seems to be more of a cultural background to it than a lot of the other arts. A lot of the other arts are so militaristic and just very hard, and this has more subtlety to it, and the body movements are all really interesting. It's almost like dance.
Daksha Seth, a contemporary dancer, has combined elements of Kalarapayattu and yoga, blending it with various Indian dance traditions. Her performances are set to music by her husband, Devisaro, an Australian whose fusion music is a confluence of Western and Indian, classical and contemporary streams. They exemplify a composite Indian family which together creates exquisite composite art. Daksha's original training is in Kathak, which evolved as a court dance during the Mughal period. It takes as its main themes stories from the life of Lord Krishna, an incarnation of the god Vishnu. Daksha transforms a Vivaldi composition into an exhilarating example of the osmosis that is typical of India's arts.
The search for contemporary dance, as far as Dr. and I are concerned, is not just a search for dance, it's a search for a dancer. That it's not sufficient that you simply put some new movements on an existing body, but that you have to develop bodies which can do a whole range of new things.
In fact, art never fails to be the medium of such assimilation and integration. The MBS Youth Choir in Kerala, southern India, sings of national integration and freely adopts the style of the Christian choir for local and even Hindi film songs.
I have been directly selected by our Guru, late Sri M.B. Srinivasan, and his theme was national integration to mass singing.
यहाँ से गाना सीखने में मेरे मन में एक नए भारत आता है.
The main motto behind this formation of the group is let us sing together for national integration, communal amity and world peace.
It is difficult to think of India without the contribution of the various communities that have settled here. Without Mughal architecture, without Gandhara art, without Khayal music, without chilies in one's curry, or cricket or tea or democracy. India has taken in these influences, been enriched and changed, and yet has retained its connection to its earliest roots. It is the strength of India's tradition that has allowed the absorption of influences to make this unique confluence of cultures that is modern India.